Okay, we are back with another strange Saturday super show. Today's episode is going to be covering, I think, one of our weirdest series yet, if
Oh,
not the weirdest.
certainly.
This is Seaguy from Vertigo via DC Comics. And this series is brought to us from writer Grant Morrison, who previously is the writer of Happy, which we have covered on,
Yes.
the Strange Saturday Super Show before. But of course, he's also worked on X-Men, JLA, Final Crisis, and a lot more books.
And we read the first
artist-
volume of his Batman and Robin in the Back-ish Review way back when.
We did. That's very true. And funnily enough, we cut that right before Cameron Stewart, the artist on this series, would take over art duties on that series.
Yes.
Starting with the second volume. So Cameron Stewart has, of course, done that. He's also worked on Fight Club 2 and 3, Catwoman, and Batgirl. And then we also have colorist Peter Doherty and letterer Todd Klein on this series. But yeah, Katie, is there anything you want to hit on before we start? Our new system is we'll run through the full plot with you guys, give our thoughts as we go, so that you guys can really get a full scope of things, even if you haven't read the book before. But read the book if you can. I think it makes it an even better experience. But before we get into that, Katie, do you have any off the top thoughts that you wanna hit here?
I mean, this is a weird one. You mentioned that this may be our strangest, and I think that it certainly is a contender. It's very much the product of an odd brain just being let loose. And
I feel like we could do at least a year of these just with Grant Morrison books.
Grant Morrison books, yeah. That man is a little bit unhinged, and I love that for him. So,
we begin in front of Educated Man's Chicken, which is, I assume, some sort of, chicken restaurant. But in any case, Seaguy, our main character,
weirdly enough,
just a guy
not to jump right into it, I think only two things on the menu there are actually chicken. Because there's the Smart Chicken Burger, some sort of hen chips, but then there's deep fried koala, monkey nuggets, shark shakes, and barbecue giraffe.
I assume. I guess maybe not because they have shark shakes and stuff. I think monkey nuggets is probably still like chicken nuggets, just like them calling it a fun thing, but maybe not because this is Grant Morrison we're talking about. But basically, everything I could have, like, the first four things I could write off as like fun thing, but deep fried koala and barbecue giraffe do just sound like they are what they are, which would probably imply that the rest are what they are. But in any case,
it's probably the case where it's a little joke about how all of it tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
We love subtle world building jokes.
Your chicken's never chicken, so why not just be honest about it? In any case, Seaguy is just a man in a scuba suit, pretty much. And we open this book on him and his friend Chubby, who is this massive tuna fish with a sailor hat.
Importantly, Grant Morrison, notorious Scottish man, named him Chubby the Tuna, which feels like a slight against the British, which we always support in this house.
That we do. And they are playing chess with Death himself. That is how this book opens.
Yes.
And Seaguy wins this chess battle, and that really pisses off Death. And he makes a point to tell them he's going to get one of the two of them. And one day he's going to get them. And he storms off. And Chubby really not happy about this. Chubby gives him a little I believe the term is guan. I don't know what that.
I believe it's go on, because I think he's supposed to be like a deeply sailorly laugh, like go on. Yeah, he is a
deeply yeah. Very very nice.
Like
but in any
even
case,
got like the very kind of Popeye-y cigar with the scowl face.
He's a full blown sailor. He is Chubby the Sailor Man. Or it's Chubby the Sailor Tuna, I guess.
Chubby the Sailor Tuna.
Yeah. Anyway, this is where we kind of get our inciting incident of the book. The first thing that happens is this other sailor lad gives them this stone that he said has smashed into his ship, and it has
Right through
hieroglyphics
his
on it.
poop deck, man.
Right through his poop deck. And this thing's got hieroglyphics on it, which is rather weird for what is presumably some sort of asteroid or fallen off, whatever the hell it is, came from the sky.
Sea Dog himself, the sailor, claims it has come from the moon, despite having Egyptian hieroglyphics on it.
So, quite weird. And then we get this Wonder Woman-esque warrior coming out with a yoga mat to do her, like, morning sword thrusts, I'll call it, because that's what the splash page makes it look like. She's swinging the sword around. And she is deeply bearded. Her name is She-Beard. And she announces that the first hero who proves his courage to her will kind of get her affections. Yes. So this deeply intrigues Seaguy, who desperately wants to be this man.
Immediately starts sweating.
Yes. He looks unwell, honestly. in the close up that we get of him, he looks deeply unwell. But
diagnosably horny.
Yeah. This man has hornyitis. But we go to then a corner store where Chubby and Seaguy are shopping, and there's this new thing called jus, and all the food now seems to be made of this stuff. And
XOO.
Yeah, XOO. And they have this conversation about, like, why is everything being made out of this stuff? And the guy working there, he's like, I don't know, it's jus. It's new. New. So it's new.
And for Seaguy, that is good enough for him. And we love that for him.
He's a very willing to go along with the lad.
Mm-hmm.
But
classic
anyway,
hero trait.
They then stumble upon this statue, this grand statue of Techno Stritch, which is an ostrich superhero who helped all of the superheroes save the universe. And apparently that was the end of the heroes. There's no more heroes now. They did it. They're done. They saved the universe. That's over. No more superheroes. And that's kind of how we get this moment of, like, Seaguy being like, I need to be a hero, though, because I want She-Beard. But
yeah,
they then hail a buggy that is this horse-drawn carriage with no driver outside of the horse himself, who does speak, because of course he does.
And calls Seaguy handsome.
That's true, he does. Yeah.
What is your take? He's wearing a hat, and we never get a full shot of the front of the hat. We get a brief shot of the front of the hat later in the book as well. It looks to me like it says, "Kiss me, I buck."
I thought it says "Kiss me quick," but maybe "I buck" is right. I'm trying to see if we. It's only that one panel where we see it, right?
Yeah, I was very. Like, well, okay. It's an interesting hat, and I want to know the joke.
Because there's three lines there, so I thought it was
there.
Yeah, right?
Is "Kiss Me Quick" a turn of... Oh, it's an Elvis song, so maybe... Oh, it's also a comedy horror film. Okay, it's probably a little Grant Morrison in-joke with himself.
Probably. I'm sure it entertained Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
In any case, though, this horse is hit by the smallest asteroid you will ever see in your life.
Here's the thing. I feel like if it's coming from space and it has made it through the atmosphere, it's bad news no matter how small that asteroid is.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying.
Like, this is like the size of a tennis ball.
This thing is tiny, and it at least from how I interpreted where the smoke was coming from, it seems like it nailed this man right in the eye. Like, this man got clobbered.
And by this man, Jay means this horse
man. this man's horse. But anyway, they end up back in their little home, very decorated with sea memorabilia, nets and wheels and how you were
big houseboat
by
energy.
The way, I feel the need to say that I find it very funny that Chubby controls the remote with his mouth. Like he just has this television remote full blown in his mouth. And this is when we start getting, like, this book's probably sounded weird to you. We've just scraped the surface. This is when we get to the real weird of this book. Which is they start watching TV and, like, it's a bunch of fucking eyes in swirls, and they're singing Mickey Eye, Mickey Eye. Like,
which is very subtle, Mr. Morrison.
Oh yeah, the Disney stuff is there. But
I mean, it's worth noting that Chubby is like the same color scheme as Donald Duck, right down to having the little hat. It comes up a lot more later. We'll touch on it.
Yeah. So this gets all weird, and Seaguy starts getting down on his dumps, and he's like, "She-Beard's not gonna want me." But they kind of start talking about what he could possibly do that's gonna be heroic, and then they get some news from the sea, and they get like this, I guess, other sailor is what I'll put it. And they're searching for Atlantis, evidently, and they're caught in a storm. And there's weird giant balloon animals going on up in there, because why?
Which I don't believe are ever explained.
No, we don't ever get any explanation of that. And I bet you think you know where this is going. They need a way to be heroic. They just saw something weird going on TV. So, yes, you guessed it. They decide to go to a park.
Like a theme park.
Like a theme park, which is a thinly veiled Epcot.
The establishing shot of it has the Epcot ball with like just an iris on it.
Is what makes it thinly veiled. Right?
I think that's pretty not veiled.
That's what thinly veiled means.
I'm saying it's not even thinly veiled. There is no veil happening here.
Okay. In any case, there's also I don't know if this is what got your attention. Like, I know there's eyeball men going around, which maybe should have been what got my attention. But like, what got my attention was the what do you call the thing? You know, the thing that goes,
the Ferris
around.
wheel.
The Ferris wheel with all eyeballs, because like, how do they get in it? Like, there's no seams or openings on those eyeballs. Like, does that just go around? Do people sit on top of the eyeballs? I need to know how you actually.
Don't worry, we get a shot of it later.
The Ferris wheel. In any case,
I like that there's a hall of eyes instead of a hall of mirrors. Or hall of.
Oh man, that is cut off too. I didn't even get that one because it was cut off and off to the side. But in any case, they go to buy some chips because, you know, as you do at a theme park, you get food, you get overpriced food. That's an important bit of it. And they're discussing all of the flavors that they have as Chubby goes off on his own. And Chubby looks down a little like sewer grate, and he sees just the most horrifying you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory-esque boat ride to hell, where
a bunch
and he runs away.
Eyes with arms and legs, full human-sized eyes, theoretically people in mascot suits, like shoving people down into bags.
That appears to be what it is. Yes, like there's one girl who's in the process of being put into a bag, a bunch of bags, and then one man who is like reaching out for help.
Unfortunately, Chubby only has a 7-second memory.
Which is very not you know, continuity there throughout the book. Like this comes up very rarely in the book. This is not a constant thing. But for this scene, he only has a 7-second memory, which is very unfortunate. And in any case, they get distracted as more asteroids start kind of raining down, and we get one that's real interesting because it has the American flag sticking out of it. This is also like the largest one. This is a much bigger. Most of them have been like maybe the size of like a baseball. and this one's more of like a bowling ball-esque asteroid.
Also, again, Grant Morrison perhaps being a bit tongue-in-cheek. Seaguy is trying to, protect people because he's like, oh, here's my moment to be a hero. And they're like, it's okay, we don't need your help. This world is, like, ready. We don't need superheroes. We have these metal umbrellas so that we won't get hit by meteors.
I'll take you these ridiculous iron umbrellas is the exact phrase.
The exact line from the book.
Yeah. But then we get to meet a superhero for the first, unless Sheepbeard is maybe also a superhero. We get to meet another superhero. We get to meet a superhero.
Yeah.
His name is Seaguy. He goes on one of those, like, sorry, did I just say his name's Seaguy? Sorry, his name's Doc Hero.
I will say he is possibly my favorite sequence in the entire book, which is him on one of these, like the swing rides at amusement parks, but they're all
like
eyeballs instead. It's honestly, like it's most akin to the Dumbo ride, I think, at Disney. But he comes by on his little barrel on the Dumbo ride and goes, Seaguy! And Seaguy turns and looks, but the ride has kept going around. And then we see him come back around and go, hi, Seaguy! And that cracked me the fuck up for so long.
It's pretty great. So we meet Doc Hero, and we learn that since Doc Hero can no longer fly, he goes on this ride repeatedly to try to recapture the thrill of flight, which is weirdly sad for this book.
Deeply
like,
sad.
And they're like, jeez, the poor man, poor Doc Hero. Also, the superhero name of Doc Hero is a wild time in general.
It's pretty great, and he has a like Roman centurion helmet.
Yeah. It's
on top of his sweater and patterned pants.
He gives like a slight, I was gonna say Dr. Fate vibe, but honestly, it's more like Magneto's helmet, but with the Roman like fin on it. In any case, though, he can apparently the power he still has is to carbon date things within 500 years, and so
really important superpower.
Yeah, he helps Seaguy carbon date this rock within 500 years. And he learns that it is between 4,000 and 5,000 years old. But he also recognizes the flag, and he says this is from the first manned lunar mission. And then the Seaguy's like, how's that possible if the rock's only 4,000 to 5,000 years old? Because the moon is billions of years old. So that don't make any sense.
It don't make sense.
And Doc Hero, ever the hero, goes, well, I'm going to get back on the ride. So we are left for Seaguy.
No one really ever gave a damn about the moon.
Yeah. And then, by the way, he tries to give Doc Hero his jus drink. He has a little jus soda. But Doc Hero, crucially, turns it down.
Yes.
And so we get this jus being drinking by Seaguy. And this changes everything because he barfs it back up. And the jus does a little swirly dirl. And boom, it's this weird little creature that's saying jus a bunch. And then it says help.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Pokemon's maybe it's like a weird like worm-like,
borderline
like
axolotl,
snake-like. Yeah. But it's all like it looks like pink, like cotton candy almost, but like a little slimier cotton candy.
Yeah, a little goopy boy.
Yeah. So then the jus asking for help, and Seaguy's like, "Don't worry, I'll help you." And then, oh my God, there's eyeballs everywhere. There's eyeball planes, there's eyeball men, there's eyeballs. There's all these eyeballs, and they're all like, "We need the jus. You're gonna give us the jus." And they decide, I think wisely, to make a break for it. And they run for Bumblebee, which we have not forgotten to mention up until now. We have not seen this yet. But Seaguy has this weird bee-looking, or bee-colored, I guess I should say,
speedboat
and so
moment.
They race to the boat, and we get a weirdly epic boat getaway splash page for this book.
Here's the thing. I also love the moment of Shu running away. Like, there's a lot of wonderful art in here. Like, the book is ridiculous, but Cameron Stewart's art is awesome.
Like, I wouldn't say though that a lot of times it feels like it's like epic. Like a lot of times it's like like fun or this or that. Like this is just like one of those like full blown like motion blur getaway. Like it's a little like first time we get something like this. So it stuck out to me seeing the splash page. I'm like, wow.
I'm gonna lightly disagree because there's I think we glossed over it when we are learning about Technostretch. We see
there's the 2-page splash.
There's a massive 2-page splash of like all of this universe's superheroes coming together to fight what I think we eventually learned was called the Anti-Dad.
But
it's
see if you can
pretty
guess
epic.
who that's meant to be. Just not understandable at all.
See, I think there are a few moments in here where Grant Morrison is like, yeah, this is we're gonna go full comic book art on this thing, and it's very funny to see
I'd rather
that
say
being
Cameron
done.
Stewart goes. We're gonna go full comic book art on
what
this.
I meant. But it's very silly to see when there are such strange little parts of that comic book art. Again, like them escaping in this speedboat with Chubby the Tuna floating there in his little head, and it being painted like bright yellow with black bumblebee stripes.
Yeah. And then we get basically only the helicopters could follow them because they're in the water now. And these helicopters just start going boom and boom and boom, and we notice there's all these more asteroids falling from the sky. And that's where we end up ending the first issue, is just in this rain. All the helicopters are destroyed, and the waves are going crazy as these asteroids are raining down literally from the moon. We get to see, I think, for the first time, we get to see them actually coming from the moon, confirming that is actually what's going on here. So, we then open
issue
on...
1 of 3.
That's issue 1 of 3.
A crazy
We open
start.
on just the weirdest thing, which are the Easter Island giant stone head.
I hear you. It's weird. The weirdest thing in this book, you think the weirdest thing is the Easter Island head smoking?
Yeah, smoking giant cigarettes. I think it's up there. I think so far it's up there. I think it gets much weirder.
Okay,
but I think so far it's up there. I think this book is just like on a shot of how do we continually become stranger.
Yeah.
And this one is with Easter Island heads smoking, and we get these like soldiers who just have like eyeball heads,
helmets,
which is weird as hell. And then they meet this strange lad with these giant goggles,
and a baseball glove for a hat.
Who will eventually be revealed to be Seaguy. But they're looking for Seaguy, and he's got this like octopus, or I guess squid. I don't know the difference. It's a squid, right? Oh, it is an octopus. Damn it, I don't know the difference. Anyway, he's got this octopus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think there's like at least one in his lap. So I'm gonna guess there's 8.
Good guess.
Yeah. So anyway, he tells them he's an octopus shepherd, which does imply that it is an octopus, as one would know. And he gives this octopus, which by the way is the Zhu. It's the pink of the Zhu. He gives it mouth to mouth in a disgusting visual, and the Easter Island heads tell the soldiers to get out of there.
Get out of here. You gotta leave. We're trying to have a quiet smoke here. Bothering nobody until you came along. Get out of here.
Once they all leave and they take off in their helicopters, we learn that Seaguy gave them the cigarettes in exchange for their help. Where he got these massive cigarettes on his boat last minute, who the hell knows? But he had them. This implies that he does just have like 50 ginormous cigarettes in his Bumblebee boat at all times.
Also, these Easter Island heads went plowing through these. There's a bunch of like spent cigarette butts on the ground. It's like Easter Island heads. You have no luck.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
you gotta go slow.
We don't know how we don't know. We have no time frame. This could be going on for a long time here.
How
we get
long
no...
was Seaguy sitting there with an octopus in his lap?
Yeah. How, because like all the helicopters were destroyed before, so they had to send out all new helicopters to get these guys there.
Oh, and I think it might have even been, was it nighttime at the end of the previous issue?
I think it was. Yeah.
The moon was out.
Was like fully there, so it's been at least a good like probably 12
hours. So they've been chilling
whatever,
here.
So. They've been chilling. They've been
all
chilling. Right. And then Chubby is like, "Get me out of the water," because apparently Chubby doesn't like the water. Which
no, Chubby flies.
It's par for the course. Yes, he does just like hover.
He flies through the air as a fish would swim through the ocean.
Yes. He swims. I guess that's actually maybe the better term. He swims through the air.
Yes.
But in any case, we get back in the boat, and the moon is still. I guess it's just nighttime again. Then actually, now looking at it, like there is no concept of time. In this book, it turns to night again, and they end up in the Arctic, and it's all chocolate.
As a way of preserving the ice caps, I believe they said.
Yes, they cover them with Europe's dark chocolate surplus, which is incredibly entertaining, and yet also turned polar bears chocolate colored somehow.
Well, I mean, if they're just running around on a bunch of chocolate, I don't know that their white fur is going to stay white for very long. Though I guess polar bears also regularly dunk into the water, so...
yeah, but this polar bear is like fully brown, like not like like he is fully brown.
Clearly, it was millions of years ago that they covered the ice caps in chocolate, and thus the polar bears have re-evolved back into brown bears. Not that they're the same type of bear, but into a brown color.
They are the same adjacent, Yes. It's a bear. It's a bear.
It's a bear.
They're all
bears. It's a bear.
They're all bears. But eventually, they kind of stumble upon this like giant freight ship of Zhu Industries.
I believe Zhu is guiding them there.
Yes, that is true. As Zhu kind of goes back and forth between only being able to say Zhu and then saying useful words every now and then.
Just every now and then.
We get a couple looks to direct them toward this Zhu Industry freighter where they come upon the same sailor dude who had told them about the things earlier.
I don't believe it's the same dude.
Is he not? He's in the same exact outfit with the same hat.
That's just what sailors wear. The other Sea Dog is of his own whole ass character, I believe, and I believe he was wearing a stripy shirt.
Was he wearing a stripe?
I can say with extreme confidence, this is not Sea Dog.
In any case, basically they tell them that they're looking for Atlantis, and the sailors are like, nah, Atlantis is over there. You missed Atlantis. But then this very creepy dude with a little
elephant trunk plague mask.
Yeah. Notices the Zhu, and it looks like things are not going to get good. And then all of a sudden, Seaguy is in a very, very creepy looking underdeck of the boat, and they're trying to feed him the Zhu, and his memory's kind of all foggy, and he's like, I can't really remember things, but I remember I had potatoes and broccoli, and we learn
the important thing here is they are telling him to eat the Zhu, and he's like, I don't remember what I ate, and we know that he had Zhu, and so the Zhu has memory affecting properties to it, which is, I think, part of our world building with Zhu. Yeah. It's new, because nobody can remember when they eat it.
And then, as he is being led to eat this bite of Zhu, it speaks to him and asks him for help, and he kind of remembers, and he's like, I won't eat my friend. And so he gets the Zhu, and he runs, and there's this giant vat of Zhu, and he jumps into it with his friend Zhu. And then all of a sudden, the whole vat comes up into this giant Zhu monster. and it's crazy, and it starts speaking in numbers and weird characters and shit instead of saying real words.
And this
and
is
it's
another
going wild.
part where this just feels like epic comic book art.
This is why, like, it's throwing around these sailors and these workers, and it's getting crazy
on this thing.
Yeah, like there's a couple really nice pages in there that look really cool.
But Shu's become a monster as it like krakens the ship in half, and that's the last we see of Shu.
Yeah, no, because Seaguy's like,
we helped. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, he's like, well, it's not even we helped. Let's go. Where he literally goes, oh, guess we lost our friend. He's like, that's not the Shu we knew. Let's get out of here. And so they give up on their friend basically, like, immediately. And then as they leave, he's kind of like, well, we did it. As we destroyed everything. And
he really says maybe we should just pretend none of this ever happened.
Yeah. But then they stumble upon Atlantis.
Yeah, they literally crash into a sign that points to Atlantis, which is quite silly, considering I think that the soldier or the sailor from before was being quite sassy with his remark about like, oh, Atlantis is over there right past Davy Jones' locker. And obviously the people at the start were searching for Atlantis, so we love the comedy of, we ran into Atlantis.
And they come upon the Temple of Poseidon, and then they kind of climb up, and they end up kind of at the deck of this, the like, they end up climbing out of the water into this temple.
Supposed to be like a hero's trial of sorts.
Yeah.
And so as they're going up, Seaguy he's literally climbing this underwater mountain so that he can like prove himself a hero, so that he can impress She-Beard. But naturally, Chubby has flown ahead.
Yeah,
because he's on. And
once Chubby's up there, he's singing to himself. He's like, it's a beautiful day. He's having a good time in this nice temple. And then he comes upon a wasp's nest, and for some reason is asking the wasps to come out. And Seaguy sees this and obviously realizes that this is a horrible idea, and he tries to get there. But by the time he gets there, Chubby is already being stung a boatload by a bunch of these wasps, and he gets there and he grabs Chubby and he's running away, and there is just way too many wasps to actually fit in that nest. But they're all coming after them. It's like a wave of wasps coming after them. Some more great art on this page of these wasps coming at them. We kind of see Seaguy trying to position himself like in front of Chubby as he's like hugging him to him, and they get stung badly. And then we kind of cut to them drifting off to sea as Seaguy is like pulling these wasps out of a Chubby who does not look so good, and he's counting them off, and he reaches like 800, and there's still a boatload in
it's absolutely bonkers. He's pulled all of these out of poor Chubby, who is clearly like fading as he is doing this. He gives the, before Tom Holland the oh, Seaguy, I don't feel so good.
Yeah. Honestly, they clearly took that from here.
Yes, clearly.
But then we kind of get we get a good passage of time. We go to night. We get more asteroids falling from the moon. But as they wake up in the morning, we are greeted by Death, finally coming back and getting his retribution as he takes Chubby away. And that's the end of the second issue of
in a very George Perez-esque pose with him holding.
It's fully the George Perez. Actually, it's more of the it's more of the the like in issue Supergirl compared to the cover one where like he's on his knees versus being like the stand.
Yeah, like holding Chubby in his arms.
Yeah,
it's very silly.
With by the way, a Superman red, or I guess a Supergirl red in this case, cape, or it's a blanket in this case, but around Chubby to go full homage in this instance.
I would say less homage and more parody. That's what this book feels
parody
like.
Homage. It's a thin line.
Is Chubby's death scene weirdly emotional for a book that feels like
they handled it pretty well. Honestly, I thought it was very well done.
Like Chubby's not making his like sassy remarks or anything. He looks sad. The emotion of Seaguy is like
he looks horrifying.
Yeah,
the way that he is illustrated once he is like in this like dead state is just real credit to Cameron Stewart.
Yeah,
it really
and to Grant Morrison, the emotion from Seaguy begging Chubby not to go with Death is so fucked to me in like a very good way.
Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
And like I think it's really neat that in a book that feels a bit like a parody, that feels incredibly strange and often incredibly goofy, there's like this payoff of this joke villain from the very first pages, and it's a weirdly emotional payoff.
Yeah, you know, as weird as Grant Morrison is, he also is a big like come back to things guy. Mm-hmm. You know, like he is that guy that it's gonna come back at some point, most likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, the start of the next issue is equally horrifying as seagulls are like eating bits of flesh off of Chubby, and so we have like a mostly skeletal Chubby with his like face still, that Seaguy's like clutching to, and it's quite horrifying.
He's been trying to work on the boat.
Yeah. But things get real weird. Where suddenly we get these, like, weirdly, like, theme park-esque, like, you know, cars coming down from the moon. And we get these Egyptian jackals coming out of them. Also really cool, by the way. We get some really
amazing
there. And they only say yip, by the way.
Which I love.
Which is weirdly unsettling.
So unsettling.
As they get Seaguy and Chubby, and they take them, or Chubby's kind of dead, but they grab his corpse too. But then his corpse
they leave his corpse behind, and it's very sad.
I don't know. They have it. They say don't. They don't. There's no actual panel of them leaving it behind. Like it's in one of their hands. The last time we see Chubby,
I thought they were tossing it away.
There's no like we get a thing where the guy says don't leave him in the water, but he's holding it with him, which is like, you know. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think they bring Chubby with. Because he doesn't come back around.
No, he doesn't come back around.
And
so I guess
I only bring it up because anyway. I found that incredibly heartbreaking as well.
Yeah, they go to the moon.
Yes.
As you would expect.
As you would expect.
And there's this giant, like, I'm going to call it a pyramid castle. It's like the, you know, like your typical like castle wall, but instead of being connected by like those big pillars, it's connected by pyramids. Which is a really cool visual.
Classic castle form, it is like essentially a city unto itself with this castle, this even bigger pyramid at the very center.
And they've got like cannons on the walls, and it's like honestly,
rad as hell.
Like the kind of thing that could be a really, really cool fucking setting for something like. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like thrown in this moon thing. But in any case, they wake up Seaguy on the moon, and he's like, oh my god, what the fuck's going on? He meets this mummy, who is the king of the moon.
Yes.
Or the pharaoh of the moon, I guess is what you would, you know, call him. And we get the backstory a little bit of this guy's father was like this big, important, immortal pharaoh.
No, he's the big, important, immortal pharaoh.
No, he's not. Different name. Amentet is the name of the first pharaoh, and then his name is Amen.
Yeah, and I don't believe that first one was immortal.
He was. That's why the thing they talked about. Yeah, they say you will never die. However, this world, he had lived for like a real long time.
The man on the pharaoh on the moon is the same person as we see him as a child first.
Yes, there is another guy though who is his.
Oh yeah,
who is his father?
They also mention we never see his father. That's his son who has grown incredibly old later on. Because the moon pharaoh's father.
Was his father. I thought the middle one was his father.
The moon pharaoh's father is already dead.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Which is why he's pharaoh. And so then he grows and lives and outlives all of his wives. He basically outlives his own son, who then has a son. And Take it away.
We get this we get this they're having this I guess, how would you put it?
They're
like,
building the moon in ancient Egypt because the pharaoh wants a monument that is larger and more important than his own father's.
But it's loaded with fireworks, I guess, is the
I believe to launch it into the sky.
Yes. And that succeeds as they light this thing, and like it shoots out a moon with a face on it, I guess.
And thus was created the Nile Delta and this moon. Yeah. And thus also was Atlantis swallowed. So there's a lot of interconnected world building in there.
But then we kind of we get a little oh, by the way, this is where Anti-Dad is mentioned as well.
Yes.
But we get this like little hint of Zollydig, which is this like beetle that there is a ominous symbol of on this in the hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
And this is where we learn that this pharaoh mummy dude, he wants Seaguy's help because he needs 5 heroes to turn the moon.
Yes.
And
because he doesn't want to look at Australia anymore.
No, he doesn't want to look at Australia anymore because now weirdly Australia is like 3 smaller continents.
I think
in this
a bunch of small islands because the Anti-Dad's body fell onto it and broke it.
Yes. In any case, Seaguy's like, well, sure, that's a challenge. I'll do it.
And hey, I'll get to be a hero, which is his goal.
Yeah, it is. And
just wait till
he should have thrown a line that is doing it for Chubby. There's also a butterfly that's like kind of leading the way. As butterfly,
because he made it all the way to the moon from the Earth in one breath. Very heroic.
And by the way, the butterfly talks, if that's not clear, because all animals talk in this world,
except for the jackals.
Wasps, weirdly. Well, they say yip.
They say yip. That's not talking.
They say yip.
Okay.
And they start kind of going down into this like
the dark side of the moon.
I guess cave system. Do you want to call it?
Yeah, they go into the dark side of the moon.
Yeah. And they're going down into this cave system, and a giant metal beetle thing shows up, and they have a nice little fight with that. And then eventually, the little jackals they all flee.
They boogie.
And we learn that they're superstitious and they don't like the milk lagoons, and so they got to get out of there because milk lagoons. And as they reach the dark side of the moon, we find out that like as the like nicely paved stone ends, that the dark side of the moon was never finished, and so that's like true moon, or I get like there's no like nice stone or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then things get even weirder as we see that this is like this giant construction site, as the butterfly reveals like that it has this like master plan. I guess it tells Seaguy that Aden Hut has had Alzheimer's for 3,000 years. And then it reveals this giant construction site where there is this giant beetle being like built within this milk lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
And Seaguy's like, what the fuck? And he does what anybody would do in this situation, and he jumps into the milk lagoon as one does.
He's a scuba boy.
He's a scuba boy.
And it's important to note this is also where we see it's not that they're not constructing the beetle, they're giving it a makeover, because Mickey Eye, the corporation behind that theme park and behind the shoe, has come to the moon to open a new location, and they've literally like enslaved this god and are teaching it their theme song so that it can be like an asset for them.
And as he kind of goes underground, there's like this weird like I guess you call it like a sink, like
a drain
hole. Drain And he ends up being kind of grabbed by these eye guys.
Yeah, these Mickey Eye soldiers.
Basically, he's like dragged away to this prison, and we see Doc Hero in said prison, which is interesting. And Doc Hero is surrounded by.
We see Sea-Dog is secretly the CEO of.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. That is important as well.
Yeah. And he's in cahoots with the Butterfly.
Yes. He is the one who is kind of giving the Butterfly his orders. But in any case, we get to this Doc Hero being insulted about his hat, and he believes he's being insulted about his hat because he kind of lost his mind, and it's very funny. And then we get Seaguy being, I guess, brainwashed. He's watching more of this like TV show that they had been watching in their house, and he's being like prodded with jus, which has like now this weird. I think he's being
fed the shoe to remove his memories of what he's gone through.
But weirdly, like in this moment, like he's not like it is on his mouth, like he's being. But this one like touches him with like a weird, like brain thingy. And we kind of get a little reset here. We get back to the beginning of the book, but now it's not, the beginning. Like you said, like the memory forgetting thing makes things kind of be on a loop. So he has a new pet now called Lucky El Loro, or a new best friend, whatever you want to call it, which is
with the haunting words of Chubby ringing as his memory goes away of They'll try to make you forget Seaguy, but don't forget me. Don't forget Chubby.
He does forget him, though. And he now has a parrot. And we go to him playing chess with death again.
I think that the implication here is that Seaguy did not forget this time around. Because he walks up to Death, saying, yes, I'll play with you. You remember me. And my best pal, don't you? And I very much saw that as Seaguy does still remember Chubby and is kind of in this place where he'll be able to now take the Mickey Eye Corporation on again and become a hero.
That's right. He does get a nice little wink moment to the audience. But yeah, I think it's very like I think the indication is that he might, but I think it's also like potentially like if they didn't get a follow-up series, like you get the like it's like a loop thing.
Sure.
But anyway,
yeah, it's ambiguous, but importantly,
it's ambiguous with a little sense of like there's something going on.
Yeah.
But in any case, they did get a follow-up series. Apparently, there's supposed to be three volumes.
Yeah,
but they only had 2. So yeah. In any case, very weird. Very weird. Book.
I liked it so much. To jump right into it, how did you feel?
I enjoy a lot of it. It's very Grant Morrison, and I think the way that I often feel about Grant Morrison is there's a lot of great stuff there, but sometimes he does just put in stuff that goes like to stuff that doesn't actually end up mattering, and it's just there to be weird. And it's like
very much so.
But yeah, no, overall I thought it was cool. I think there's a lot going on. It's very thinly veiled parody and stuff in it, which is thoroughly entertaining, and I think that there's some nice art moments in there. But overall, I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's one of those things where like I think that maybe there could have been a little bit more like narrative.
That's
straight through line.
That's my big gripe with it. I feel like it's very much split into 2 acts, like the Shoe Act and the Egypt Act. And I don't think that they necessarily threaded together nicely.
Agreed.
Like the important thing was, getting the shoe back to its ship so that he could crash in Atlantis. And then it's all tied together by the Mickey Eye. But I think that it really could have used a more direct connection between the two to really tighten it up.
Connected at the end, but that didn't make like the actual like journey there connected.
Yeah, and that unfortunately makes it seem like oh, I'm sorry, just having it open here, I just noticed something on the last page.
Yeah.
The sign says that there's no shoe today, and the shoe is all marked as sold out. So I think this ending,
probably because of the explosion, right, of the ship, or like not the explosion, the giant
also,
shoe
the
monster
moon
breaking
is a
out of the
giant
ship.
eye in this one. I'm gonna jump back to. Sorry, I didn't notice that before. Just glancing over, I'm gonna jump back to our first. There's no moon on the first page, so that's just like a daytime moon because they've succeeded with getting their moon deal going. That's pretty rad. That's pretty fucking rad. I dig that so much. But yeah, like we were saying, it could have used a narrative thread between the two. I feel like Seaguy himself dying just for a second there. Seaguy himself didn't have a lot of like agency for a lot of the book, which was a bit of a bummer. Which is why I think towards the end I started to like him to have it,
and I think it's one of those things where Grant Morrison sometimes likes to kind of turn things on their head just to turn things on their head. Mm-hmm. So like there's nice setup for Seaguy to have agency where it's like, here's this thing that could inspire him to want to then be a hero and stuff. But he never actually, like, you threw in there like, and he's doing this because it's a chance for him to be a hero for Shibuya. He never says that. That's not in that scene. Like, that is very much a thing that you kind of put in front. Like, he says, I'll do it because there's a chance to do it. So he doesn't say no on the moon there. It's like a thing.
So and, it worked really well the first time with like what you said when there was the like balloon animals attacking the ship. It worked really well that time where it's like, here's a chance for him to be a hero, and then they go to a theme park. But then later on, you're right, that it could use more on the page character growth.
Yeah, he's very much, like you said, I think you hit it there. He doesn't have a ton of agency, even when there's like perfect moments to give it to him. It's a lot of just like, they're going to drag him to wherever they drag him to. But maybe that's like, the setup here, because this is like 3 issues and there's, there was intended more and there is more. But like,
still,
maybe that's the setup for like him to break out, because like we end up in, like you said, kind of the setup for him to like break out of the machine. And that would be like the first real moment of agency if he like realized now that he's in this mind control Zhu Hellpocalypse, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's my main gripe, but it is a lot of fun.
And it's a lot of fun. It's very wild at times. I think that it gets better the deeper into it you go. Like, I didn't particularly like issue 1, but then I enjoyed issue 2, and I really liked issue 3.
I agree.
So hopefully that's a good sign for the rest of the series, that it just keeps getting better. But do you have any final thoughts on Seaguy?
I think we kind of wrapped everything up there. I think it's the weirdest book we've read for the Strange Saturday Super Show. I'm gonna tentatively real agree. Weird. Yeah, it's real.
My Date with Monsters is very fucking weird, but it at least has a better narrative structure.
I don't know if I'd even put My Date with Monsters like top 3. Really? Like, My Date with Monsters is a weird concept, but it's not weird in execution. Like, it is a very normal narrative, and like it takes a weird concept, but it's like a very normally structured book. I feel like that kind of knows what it's doing.
What would you?
And that's why like I enjoyed some.
We'll figure it out eventually. We'll do a strange meter.
I'm putting this number 1. But there's certainly I think a good amount that I probably put above it.
But if you would like to contribute,
I think My Date with Monsters is most weird from an art perspective. Like the monsters are drawn real.
The monsters are very very weird. Yeah. But we have a whole playlist of Strange Saturdays that you can check out. We also have our regularly scheduled content. This past week, we talked about DC's All In. And this coming week is going to be our review of Absolute Batman, so get excited for that. Last week, we also put out the start of our Absolute Fantasy Football League thing. Yeah. We're doing fantasy football for DC's Absolute Universe. We've got rules, we've got examples,
it's a lot of fun.
And we've got our teams in that bonus.
And we've got our first Absolute book coming out this week.
That's right.
That's going to be very exciting. I do think we incorrectly had told people that we're going to be reviewing that on the main episode this week, which is not how our Absolute.
No, I think we talked about doing the all-in one, which we thought was going to have more Absolute in it.
No, I mean, I think for our last main episode, we incorrectly put Absolute Batman on the list of books that we're reviewing for this week's episode when we're doing the Absolute books.
I believe you that we did.
Yeah.
But in any case.
In any case, we are rambling because that's what we do. Yes. Hopefully, we'll see you next week. Comic Geeks.